Good morning, Laguna Woods. It's Monday, and as you can see, we're in a different setting than we usually are, and we're going to have a couple of 2 weeks of some different shows. And here's what I encourage you to do. Watch these 2 weeks, and then we long for your input. And what did you think of them, and how does this compare to other formats that we do? So I'm really looking for your input. Frankie Zumbro is with me for this week, and here's what we're going to do. I read an article, maybe a month ago, that had listed the top 100 searches at YouVersion of the Bible, which is a Bible app that happened in 2018. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we took the top 10 Bible searches and we discussed those 10 verses, one verse per day? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of have a countdown show. Remember Casey Kasem's top 30? Maybe you don't.
No.
You're too young. But he used to have the Count 30 countdown every week. And so copying that format, we're going to have a top 10 countdown for 2 weeks. And I'm excited about it. It's a little bit different, but we're going to give you the opportunity. I would encourage you, make a list, maybe even write down what number 10 is and so forth. And at the end of that, you'll have some very important verses. So I mentioned Frankie. I'm so glad you're here. A little bit background. Frankie went through the Bible Study Fellowship studies. She was on church staff back in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Actually, was it a couple churches?
No, just one.
Okay. But anyway, so she's ministered to people for years. She's a leader of one of our greatest home Bible studies, which we call small groups. And you lead our Grief Share ministry. And actually, if you go back on YouTube channel, Frankie was on our first 5 shows of Inspiration for Today. That's 120 shows ago.
Oh my goodness.
Hold it up.
Oh, I'm not used to holding a mic.
I know, we don't usually, I have a lapel one. So Frankie is so qualified to comment on these verses. Why don't you read, this is number 10 in the top 10 countdown.
Number 10 is Matthew 6:33, and it states, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." And the thing that hit me was, but. Why was the but put in there? But is a conjunction. It's a word that connects, and it joins 2 ideas. But when you state the word but, it's saying in contrast to worrying about what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear, all the necessities of life. But Jesus said, you are to seek first, foremost. That's an imperative, a command. You can tell I was an English teacher.
She was a teacher. So
yes. What are you to seek? What are you to dwell on? His kingdom. Turn to God first.
So, Frankie, what you've actually done is put this in the context. Now, a bigger context, though, is this is Jesus speaking. It's part of the famous Sermon on the Mount.
Correct.
So it's right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount that we know. And he actually, you hit the nail on the head, he's actually talking about worry.
Correct.
Because don't you agree, worry is something that all of us humans tend to do.
We do. It's natural. Now with the stock market going down, people are looking at their family situations. They're looking at their health. They're looking at their jobs.
Yeah.
And they're seeing a decline. But he says, seek first his kingdom.
And that's really, according to Jesus, the key.
Yes.
Rather than wasting the energy, and it does take energy
Yes.
to worry. Rather than that, why don't we just, Jesus is saying, or at least I think he's saying, just think of the things of the Lord and seek to do what he would have you to do, and don't worry, he will take care of your needs.
Exactly. And it's like,
have you found that to be true? I mean, we read
very
it, we
much
know
so.
it's true.
When I'm not sleeping at night and I realize I'm worrying about something and it's counterproductive, that I need to calm down, to turn to him and say, God, this is out of my control. I cannot do one thing, but you can.
I really hadn't even thought about that, but when you've reminded me that prayer, which is basically what you're saying, if it's in the middle of the night, that's what you're doing. You're probably not getting out of bed, but you just turn to the Lord in prayer.
Exactly.
And that's a peace-inducing thing that says, hey, everything's going to be okay.
It is. God knows what we need, even beyond what we know. He promises that he'll take care of us.
Yeah.
He says, do not be anxious. There's a song that we sing, and it's called God Will Take Care of You. And it says, be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. And then the refrain is, God will take care of you through every day, over all the way. God will take care of you. All you might need, he will provide. Nothing you ask will he be denied. God will take care of you. And then it ends with, no matter what be the test, lean weary one upon his breast. God will take care of you.
We're going to have to sing that one on Sunday sometime.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, let's put it in as a request. But just I wanted to read the next verse. So Frankie just read Matthew 6:33 and record it. But to confirm what you're saying, 6:34, the next verse says, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. And so I take that as kind of the summation of all you've been saying.
Well, it's the verse that hit me is actually the verse before that.
Okay.
Where it says, can you add 1 hour to your life?
Yeah.
Do such a minor thing as that? And I'm thinking, that's not minor. That's major. But
my other thing is, the more I put my mind and meditate on the Lord and who he is, that puts life in perspective. And I don't know, for me, and I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, and that is, so most nights I go outside before I go to bed just to have my final prayer time, looking up at the stars. Because God put all those stars there.
In place.
For what? So I can be in awe of him, I'm convinced.
When we look at the universe and the diversity, the trees, the flowers, the mountains, the oceans that he created for us, to me, it's like he loves us that much. So
Laguna Woods, we've given you verse number 10. We're going to come back tomorrow with verse 9 in the popularity of 2018. But this was a good one, wasn't it? To put life in perspective, Frankie and I encourage you, put God first, and the rest of these things will be added unto you. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow. This is going to be a fun week, and I hope you enjoyed the setting too. Bye-bye.
Bye.